The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world. The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and on Blog Talk Radio. Special Wednesday night show, May 11, 2011. Damian Nelson here along with the Kaz, Frank Cosentino, the lovely social media diva Linda Kay, and David Octavius and Tiberius Hero.
Really? That's how I get the introduction?
What do you mean?
Well, it's rather blah.
Well, I mean,
you fill up the cars, you got
you're
lovely
rather
Linda,
blah.
and then there's just me. Thanks, pal.
A lot to discuss this week.
You're just bitter.
And a lot of your comments as well are going to feed the conversation. And you can join us on the phone lines. The number 414-276-ESPN, 414-276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. Linda, we're also on Twitter and Facebook.
You can reach us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/PWR Show. Oh, Pro Wrestling Report. Sorry, Pro Wrestling Report. Twitter.com/PWR Show.
There
Sorry
it is.
about that.
And discussion going on right now on Facebook. We're going to get to those comments in a minute about some of the topics we're talking about tonight. And remember, you get to choose the music. The music that we're going to use all night long. Go right to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report, to be a part of that. We talked, David Hero, this past Monday night on the post show about WWE Raw. It was a lackluster show, to say the least. A show, though, that had some newsworthy items that came out of it, including more of the push for R-Truth, who's more than an angry black man.
Yeah, he's rather entertaining, isn't he?
To who?
To himself, to the writing team. You know, they're doing a good thing with Ron Killings, R-Truth, K-Quick, whatever you want to call him.
Former NWA champion.
I like where they're going with it. Almost like the loose cannon Brian Pillman kind of character.
I respect you, Booker man.
Absolutely. I don't appreciate all the other little things they said throughout the evening, but you know what? That's just how wrestling
all
used
the
to
other
be.
little things.
Yeah.
Hospital food, quote unquote Mexican fence jumper, quote unquote day laborers, quote unquote Taco Bell parking lot. A lot of risque things said this past Monday night on WWE Raw. And what we're going to talk about later on in this program is what is too far, and talk about some of those stories in wrestling that in the past or currently may have gone too far. We'll get to that later on in the program. Linda, Kaz, your thoughts on this past Monday's WWE Raw, aside from the obvious domination of the program by The Miz?
Oh, an average show.
What?
An average show at best. I do like what they're doing with R-Truth. It makes him relevant. I mean, he was just kind of caught in...
Admit it, Frank. You said it makes him sexy.
It does. There is a sexiness to him.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes him relevant. Before, he was just in this mid-card kind of... All the kids kind of liked him when he came out. Now it's different, and I like it. That's a good thing. But the overall show was just average. And it's in a transition at the moment. I don't know exactly what direction they're going.
They go from being a PG-rated show to now pushing the race cards overnight.
The realm of parental guidance goes pretty far.
Come on. Really?
And what do you mean the race cards? It's no different than what you see on TV shows.
It all depends. Okay, like Sesame Street plays the race card?
That's rated G, general
Okay.
audience.
I mean, they've gone from Sesame Street to Family Guy overnight, is what they've done.
I do like that analogy.
You like that? You like Sesame Street? You like Big
Yeah.
Bird?
I was talking to
Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Hey, leave him out of this.
He was here earlier. Well, I think all this leads to, and as we talk about Raw, and we know obviously WWE is having some talent issues. And what I mean by that is clearly the days of old are gone where the talent roster was so deep that they had so many people who could support a good weekly episodic program. Arguably, they don't necessarily have that anymore. And we're going to talk in-depthly about that in the next few minutes here and talk about some of the stars that have gone away, stars that are stepping up, who you think should be pushed, if you will, as that next big thing in WWE, and who might be coming back. But first, let's go to the phone lines, and let's start on line one. We've got Ricardo down in Houston. You're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Yo, what up, dogs?
Hello, Ricardo.
I'm great. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Just got a comment on R-Truth. I'm still not taking him seriously with all the little corny stuff he said. Wouldn't it benefit more if he's going to go with the racial slurs and all that to go maybe if the WWE transitions him back to what Booker T used to be in the mid-'90s with Harlem Heat, if he would switch over to a character like that, lose the dreads and all that?
I've been very vocal about R-Truth over the last few years and his portrayal in WWE specifically. Never saying anything bad about his wrestling skills. He's actually got a ton of talent. He's a great
needs
wrestler.
to change his gear.
You don't like the airbrush jumpsuit?
No, it's time to lose the airbrushness.
Change the attitude, change.
Yeah, you know what? Just change your gear.
Man.
No, just change your gear. You know what? If you don't want the whole hip hop, what's up, dancing, the whole thing, then change your gear. It hasn't worked for him yet in the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come up with a new song.
Look at the Miz. He goes from those, I don't know what kind of shorts he used to wear, like those capris he used to wear to the ring.
Those weren't capris. He's not European.
So now he wears regular ring trunks, and he became the champion.
When was the last time Ron Killings was in regular gear? He's like forever.
I have no idea, but that would be a huge step in the right direction for him. He can keep that, the dreads, the whole thing. Just change your gear.
Let's go to line two, another phone call. Remember, you can join us, 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to Don in New York. You're live.
What's up, Damien? What's up, hero?
Hey, my man.
Got a question. I'm a big fan of the Divas. A little bit disappointed I only get 5 minutes a week on Raw. What do you think about the concept, Damien? And Vince McMahon talked about expanding the product line the other day in his shareholder meeting. What do you think about the concept of an hour-long show like WWE Divas or something where we could at least get, 3 matches a week or something rather than 5 minutes?
The last 2 weeks.
Thank you for that call, Don. There's been talk about this, or there was talk about TNA doing a knockout-specific show.
And they did that.
Well, they did one.
Yeah.
But a weekly Divas or knockout show, I'm not sure the audience is there for that. Maybe WWE can throw it online. But as we're talking about the lack of depth in their talent roster, you almost start with the Divas division because a lot of them aren't the best of wrestlers in the world. So that could be a little difficult. But there's a reason Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling is no longer on TV. There's a reason POW is no longer on TV. There's a reason that a lot of these female-only wrestling organizations never really took off. I don't know if the interest is out there on a weekly basis, maybe a monthly special that something can build to
Do
and
it
look
on
forward
pay-per-view.
Say pay-per-view.
to. A Divas-only pay-per-view?
Absolutely.
Really?
Why not?
Would
That
you
way,
order
that
it?
way it's that way it's there if you'd want it.
It could be more than just matches. You're going to have the promos, the
Photo shoots, the whole thing.
footage.
Mhm.
Well.
Sell merchandise. I would do it online though.
That's just creepy.
Really?
You know what I mean.
Really? An interesting concept. As WWE's been talking about, and as Don pointed out in the shareholders meeting, they're talking about expanding their product, expanding their offerings, expanding what they have out there.
Damien, that's lip service. Of course they're going to say they want to expand their product line. They're trying to move the needle, trying to get some money coming in.
Well, and couldn't this be an opportunity?
They're
to use their
not going to
existing
do
product?
it. Listen, stick with the calendars, the magazines, and the DVDs for the divas. And and there's a lot of divas that I'm a big fans of, but that's not where the money is.
No, but now with Karma there,
It's a niche. Well, that's a different
right
situation altogether.
I don't know if that would work to do once a month or just a pay-per-view.
I can't see the wrestling audience buying a pay-per-view just because Karma's going to be on.
Right. Agree.
We're going to take a timeout, take more of your phone calls when we come back, and we're also going to talk about the current problems with the talent depth in WWE. Also going to talk about some stories that may have gone too far in the past in professional wrestling, an update on the 2011 Pro Wrestling Report Fantasy Draft, your phone calls, and so much more. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN. The sports Milwaukee cares about all day long on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, all over the world at ESPNMilwaukee.com and on Blog Talk Radio.
Love this theme. Thank you, Jim Rogers, for providing us with the Roddy Piper theme. And again, everyone, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. Let us know what song you want us to play here live.
And we'll still have do the contractual obligations, the superhero song of the week this week.
That's the winner.
That'll be the chicken dinner that we're having later on right here on this very program. Again, welcome back, and we're talking about the talent pool in WWE or lack thereof. And, the discussion really has been going on for a long time because WWE has taken some hits over the last couple of years as far as available talent. And the big stars that they've relied on for a number of years, no longer there. Some of those names, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Batista, you got to put The Undertaker in that category. More recently, Edge, Triple H, Chris Jericho, just to name a few, no longer part of the WWE picture or the WWE main event picture, meaning they've got to find some replacements. And they've taken some chances on some people over the last year and over the last few months that have either worked or that chance that they may have been taking has been abruptly stopped with no explanation where you thought maybe there was some potential. And I want to talk about each of these names specifically so we can sort of analyze what may have gone wrong and what potential they may have as that star to lead the company. And at the end of this conversation, on our Facebook page, we're going to be referring to that poll that we have available asking who should be that next big star in WWE. So head on over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report, and vote in that poll now.
Who are the choices that you listed?
The choices on there, Linda can share that with the world in just a moment, but it's a lot of the up-and-coming stars in WWE right now.
So, like Sheamus?
No.
Wade Barrett?
No.
No?
Yeah, well, I'll just read them down the line. We have Zack Ryder, Cody Rhodes.
That's your next big thing,
Yes.
Linda Kay.
Yes, he is. We also have R-Truth, Christian, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, Wade Barrett, and Don Morrison.
You put Zack Ryder on the list? Has the guy wrestled on Raw or SmackDown in the last 6 months?
He was on Raw this past week.
He's fist pumping.
But did he
He's the
do
champ.
anything? Come on. You're just going off his YouTube videos.
Well,
What's wrong with that?
No.
part of the making of a superstar, right?
They also got to be a good in-ring talent. That's just my take.
Are you saying Zack Ryder's not a good in-ring talent?
He's good, but listen, if he was great, he'd be on Raw or SmackDown.
He was on Raw this past Monday.
But he didn't wrestle. He's not even in a program with anybody.
Of the wrestlers that Linda mentioned, the one that jumped out at me was Dolph Ziggler. He's got, I think, the most potential.
Player one.
You think he's cute, don't you?
I do.
Wow!
Oh,
First you accuse him of doing inappropriate things online.
No, because him and Dolph have the same hairstyle now. You guys got the brown thing going?
I think he's got so much potential once they keep him away or move him away from, what's her name?
Vicky Guerrero?
Yeah.
Hell, he needs Vicky.
Well, right now, but eventually he's not going to need her. And that's when he's really going to, I think, take over.
You know, I've been reading the Brock Lesnar book that we got tonight. I'm almost through with it. And interesting point is that how Brock talks about how Vinnie Mac was always concerned that he was going to leave early, which he did. He left his contract early. Maybe that's Vince's problem. He's afraid if he invests in someone like a Brock Lesnar again, that they'll leave after 2 or 3 years. And that's why he sticks with the guys like Triple H and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and the John Cena's, the guys that have bought into Vince's psyche, you know, how he thinks and how he lives, eats, and breathes wrestling. And maybe Vince doesn't see anybody else in the locker room that is that same way.
He's got to take a risk at some point.
He tests everybody in that locker room. He will push them a little bit, and then he pulls it back because he wants to see how they react. He's done that with Sheamus. He's done it with Kofi. He's done it with Legacy. He's even done it with Randy Orton. Now he's doing it with The Miz. It's a constant test. It's a
Dare
cat
I
and mouse
call
game.
it the temperature
There it
check.
is. The temperature
Well,
check.
it's almost summertime.
It wasn't summertime today? It was 90 degrees here today.
Where?
Down in the Chicago area.
Okay,
it was.
not Milwaukee land.
Really?
It was like 65, wasn't it?
Really? Well, by the time you woke up this morning, it was 90 degrees.
Well, you get home, it was 90 degrees.
Well, let's go to the phones. Let's take a couple of your calls before we start talking about those individual talents and our analysis of them and their position in the company and why it may be where it is. Let's go to Omar in Milwaukee, who's calling on line 1. You're live.
What's going on, gentlemen and ladies?
Hello.
Hookah.
Hello, Omar.
Hookah Nation.
The Hookah Nation in the house. Couple things I wanted to touch point on Monday's call when you brought in the obsession with Karma with Kelly Kelly. Do you think they're going to do a Godzilla thing where she's going to be her little Barbie doll in the future?
I don't know. I mean, I could see them being buddies. I could see them hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly and Karma.
Yeah, another thing is, do you think with the storyline with Michael Cole always interrupting the Divas, there's going to be a thing with Karma with Cole?
Well, you should probably watch SmackDown Friday.
I already know.
Oh, so you're asking questions when you already know the answers to.
You're trying to get us to give a spoiler, which we're not going to do, especially in Cody Rhodes' big match on SmackDown this Friday.
It's going to be awesome. And
proving he's no Marty Jannetty.
And with the third final topic I was going to mention is when you discuss the older wrestlers going through injuries like Edge, how he retired, do you think them being financially stable now is letting them back away from wrestling instead of severing further injuries like the old stars? They didn't have that option.
You know, Omar, that's a tremendous point.
That's a very good point.
And I think there's more to that point, and thank you very much for the call. There's more to that point. In today's professional wrestling, there are so many more opportunities for the talents. You look at the movies from WWE Studios.
Video
Chris
games.
Jericho on Dancing with the Stars. You look at a lot of these outside things that a lot of professional wrestlers are doing or have had the opportunity to do that either didn't exist or weren't available back in the day, if you will, which you can now even look at mixed martial arts. That's why Batista left, and obviously that didn't pan out for him, and some are saying he may be returning to WWE in the future. But the opportunities are many more outside of wrestling, and when you reach that point of burnout, remember why Brock Lesnar originally left. He was going to go be a Viking, and he was a Viking, not so much on the field, but certainly on the team.
Mm-hmm.
These opportunities that present themselves make wrestling a lot less attractive, especially if you've touched that glory for a little while and get sick of that grind.
But these guys are also living differently also. I mean, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even early 90s, these guys would go to the bar after the show. Now these guys are going back to their hotel rooms and playing their Xbox or their PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or,
it's a different life.
Well,
They're
some
saving
are
their
still
money.
going to the bar.
Well, some of them are.
I mean,
but
Frank and the Briscoes.
Is there a Briscoe in the car?
2. It is different, and I think that with additional focus on overall health, a lot of the talents are more in tune with what their bodies are telling them. And maybe the passion to perform injured, the passion to take those extra chances is not as prevalent as it was in the past.
You know, guys like Edge and Batista and, even John Cena, they see how broken and battered some of those 80s and early 90s stars are.
Excellent point.
And they don't want to be that. They don't want to be like those guys. They don't want to be a statistic.
Yep.
right. But Vince McMahon gives them an opportunity at some point.
Well,
If they're able to take advantage of that, make some money.
The
then-
Rock is the smartest guy in wrestling.
Absolutely.
6 years in, and he got out. Now he's making $20 million a movie.
Right.
and he gets his birthday party on USA. You can't beat that.
That's the model that I think everyone's now going to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's such a rare occasion.
Well,
he had it all.
And there is a guy, that I talked to that was on one of the Raw vs. SmackDown video games. His check was $80,000 to be in the video game. That's just for one game.
Right. It's not a bad deal.
That's not the DVDs. That's not the action figures, the lunch boxes, the bed sheets, the whole
thing.
thing.
I'm saying, if you get that opportunity, let's say you get a year and a half, and after a while, you know what, I don't like what's doing my body and stuff, you still had that window where you can then take what you learned and maybe go across country and, I'm going to sell stuff here, I'm going to sell stuff there, go to the indie shows where I don't have to wrestle, I can just kind of show up. Those guys know if they're sold the right way and they're talking to the right people, such as yourself, who can say, I'll show you how to do this and to be profitable. They need to take advantage of that.
The discussion continues in the chat room on Blog Talk Radio. That's blogtalkradio.com/PWR during the timeout. And when we come back, more about those names of people who WWE has given a chance to or maybe should give a chance to when we come back. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live a special Wednesday night episode of the Pro Wrestling Report, May 11, 2011. Damian Nelson here along with the Cause, Linda Kay, and David Hero.
That's better. I like that.
I didn't mean it.
You don't have to mean it. Just sounded better.
Thank you to Jim Gilbertson for choosing the $1 Million Man's theme. Again, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. Tonight's theme, Vintage Stars.
Vintage Stars.
Well, then I better see the Ultimate Warrior on that list. He's vintage.
That's how Frank gets here every week. Comes running down the hallways, knocking people over.
Shaking the ropes.
Got tassels on his arms.
I like it. The no pest strips. That's what they were, No pest strips.
414-276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Also on Twitter at PWR Show. We'll be taking those comments as well. So, some of those names, before we took that time out, we were talking about who could be the next big thing in WWE, or who WWE has given a try, and as you have talked about earlier, David Hero pulled back with. And I think one of those big people would be Sheamus.
Absolutely.
Sheamus, a marketable look, a different kind of star, clearly has talent, is now a former WWE champion and a former United States of America champion. I'm a little surprised at Sheamus having taken a pretty substantial step back since his meteoric rise to fame in WWE.
He must have really ticked somebody off.
Yeah.
Because him and Triple H were workout buddies. They're, pals. He was in with the clique, kind of.
Didn't he have a few matches with Mr. Cena? And then after that, things kind of went...
Yeah, and Randy Orton also.
Do you think maybe, as we've heard many times, that there's a few hills to climb?
Yeah, there's two different sets of mountains. But, but I guess how many guys, and maybe Big Show is the one exception, where they get jobbed out for a while to come back stronger? Where Big Show was, losing, and they sent him down to OVW. Then he got back in shape, or at least in better shape, and then they gave him a good push, and they had some good matches with him. But I can't picture, when you bury these guys for so long on either brand, it's going to take a while for them to come back. And I don't see any of these guys coming back strong.
But here's what Big Show has that others don't. He had a comedy side to him that worked. He could play the heel role, obviously, and then the face turn he can do.
And you can't tee tight. He's
right,
a legit 7-footer.
Exactly. I don't know if Sheamus can pull a face turn right now.
Oh, I think so. If the Great Khali can do it, anyone
Randy
can do
Orton
it.
could do it.
Randy Orton can't pull off a face turn.
He done did it.
He hasn't done it.
But that's the only thing they can do with Sheamus at this
Randy
point.
Orton doesn't even cut a promo. He doesn't. He can't even cut a babyface promo. All of his stuff is the same.
Well, he's got two emotions.
Angry and mad. That's it.
And maybe really mad. That's
yeah.
great.
Obviously, there's always talk of the politics of wrestling. And David Hero and Frank, you just got done talking about some of those political issues that may keep a person from being utilized as much as they could be. Now, obviously, WWE is entertainment, but it is a bit of a sport as well. The challenge is can either company, WWE or TNA, look at those people who are the stars, who the machine will work behind, and regardless of what issues are going on backstage, regardless of if the writers or Vince McMahon or Stephanie McMahon like you or don't like you, regardless of those things, they become still pushed, or they get pushed in the company and become stars in the company. Will they ever get away from that? Will you ever have a wrestling company that gets the politics out of it?
Never. It's like everywhere you work. There's office politics.
Absolutely.
You know,
Think of
every
it,
job
right.
setting.
That's a good
But
point.
your best player on the Green Bay Packers, they're going to play every week, right? Even if they're getting arrested and all this other stuff. They're still with the league.
Well, not always. It depends how much
In
their
general.
contract is.
Yeah.
And as wrestlers are under some sort of contract. It's hard, but it's never going to change, like Dave mentioned. You're going to push stars that are marketable to make your company most money.
Absolutely.
So
Look at Lex Luger and the Lex Express. They jammed that down everyone's throat.
Yep.
Right.
It didn't work, but they still did it.
Mm-hmm.
Even John Cena, he's a 50-50 guy. 50 love him, 50 hate him, but Vince, still pushes him like crazy.
2 to 3 years ago, who'd they try to push? CM Punk.
That worked.
As a babyface.
For 6 months, maybe? He was with one of
It's a
JBL.
two-time world
Okay,
champion.
here's the problem with CM Punk, okay? Super talented guy, great on the mic, but he's the kind of guy that if he disagrees with you, he's going to tell you he disagrees with you. He's not the guy that toes the company line. So that rubs people the wrong way.
Right. It's so hard to say, okay, this is the guy that's we're going to market and push. Like you do in the NBA. They pick 5-6 stars and they push. Same thing with WWE. Except it seems like if you're not with John Cena crowd or that sort of mountain, then there's a problem. And I think that's what happened to Sheamus at this point. He kind of got stuck, losing to both Orton and Cena, and now he's, I don't know, they made him King of the Ring, which made him relevant for that couple of weeks.
Billy
yeah,
Gunn
but
was King of the Ring.
and so was Haku.
Right.
God bless you.
You know?
I wish they would push Sheamus, but I think he's going to need a face turn. I don't know if he's able to pull that off.
But again, Sheamus doesn't need a ton behind him because he's unique. He is a wrestler. He's a man's man. He's got it. It's already there.
Do you know what killed off Sheamus? Was when he ran away from the Nexus and looked for John Cena.
Right.
Remember that?
Yep.
He right there was supposed to be the big bad heel of the company, and when he saw Nexus, he ran away and was looking for John Cena. That killed off all credibility.
Obviously was written.
Well, yeah. That killed him off.
And again, we mentioned another name, John Cena.
Mm-hmm. That's just my take.
I think it's a pattern.
Wade Barrett. Obviously another rise to fame in WWE, the leader of the Nexus, coming from NXT. Wade Barrett's got a ton of talent. He's a big guy. Again, another person that has that look.
And he can talk.
And he can definitely talk. But aside from being moved to SmackDown, which wasn't the end of the day, or wasn't the end of the game, rather, but now being leader of the core, if you will, and being Intercontinental Champion, which is obviously nothing to sneeze at, but Wade Barrett, I would think at this point, could have been much further along in his career than he is now.
I think the core has held him back. I think if he was on his own, he'd be doing a lot better.
I agree. And I don't know how long it's going to be. A while, I think, before he's away from the core.
I hope so.
Can he be one of those top guys?
Absolutely.
He looks like a legitimate tough guy. He's 6'4", 6'5", 260. He's a legitimate, he's a brass knuckles champ.
Mm-hmm.
He's believable.
Kofi Kingston had gotten a huge push for a while on Raw.
He's another one of those wrestlers that, and there's not many, where the kids like him, and then eventually you've kind of run out of ideas for him.
Does Kofi need a heel run, David Hero?
No.
No?
No. It just wouldn't work with him.
I don't know why, but when I said that, I thought of Evil Doink for some reason. It's almost the same thing. I mean, Kofi's a bit of a goofy character. It's been fun,
okay.
you know.
I'm going to say this, and it has nothing to do with race, but both guys are similar. Ron Killings and Kofi.
Right.
They both happy-go-lucky,
They don't look
dancing.
anything alike.
I didn't say that. Not at all. I never said that. And they're doing that now with Ron Killings. They can't have both guys do it. It wouldn't make, it just wouldn't work.
No.
But you know what? Kofi, and I said this once before, he reminds me of Jimmy Snuka. The fans like him. He really doesn't need a championship to be over. Mm-hmm. High flyer. He's always going to be one of the guys, upper mid-card guys, because, he's so popular. But if Vince was really behind Kofi Kingston, he'd have more than one T-shirt right now. They'd have a lot more merchandise for him than what they do.
Give him more mic time.
They could try, but right now, there's not enough mic time for everybody. That's the problem.
That would help.
Well, Michael Cole's using it all.
So,
well, we're going to get to your phone calls. We've got a caller from the north side of Milwaukee. We've got Adam in Columbus and James in Houston waiting on hold. We're going to get to you guys in a minute. When we come back, though, Frank, I understand that you have a ruling to render regarding the injury situation on the Nelson family in the PWR fantasy draft.
Absolutely.
Collusion.
I caught the legal, and I'll have an answer here shortly.
You don't have Sylvan's number. I'm going to try it. Sylvan is upset, by the way. He got a call at 3 in the morning from one of the fans out there after you, David Hero, gave his number out to the world.
Oh, it's not my fault. It's, common knowledge. 414-915-9292.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Repo Man.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Wednesday, May 11th, 2011. Damian Nelson, along with the Kaz, Linda Kay, and David Hero.
Kaz is bobbing his head.
Yeah.
Repo Man. Thank you, Peter Rodriguez, for that recommendation.
I was watching Repo Games last night. Have you seen that show? It's on Spike.
I have not.
There are some dumb people in America. I swear. Really. They deserve to lose whatever they lost.
Yep. Wow. All right.
Listen, they asked this one idiot who was one of America's forefathers that helped discover electricity. She said Bill Clinton. It's like even Cal knew the answer. It's like, wow, idiots.
Well, Kaz,
yes.
John Morrison's injured.
6 to 8 weeks.
And John Morrison,
it's going to be longer than that.
John Morrison is a member of the Nelson family.
Yes.
And I was under the impression in the PWR fantasy draft that I would get to select a replacement for J-Mo because he's injured. And I don't understand how he could be on my roster if he's injured because I can't. It's not my fault he got injured. And,
you cursed him.
Oh, I cursed him. You single-handedly ruined the career of The Miz. You, David Hero, put taint all over The Miz. You are the reason he's no longer WWE champion.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
You are the reason that he's got an I Quit match now with John Cena.
I did something Jerry Lawler couldn't do. I have ruined him. You can have him back. I'll trade him to you. I'll take the Pope.
I'm still reviewing.
Wait, did I really just say I'd rather have the Pope than the Miz?
Oh, I take that back.
I mean, I guess he's the lesser of two evils, right?
Kaz,
yeah,
your official ruling as the moderator of the draft.
Good old boy network here.
John Morrison.
Screw job finish.
There's no way I could ever be part of any good old boy network.
I feel like I'm in Montreal.
We're not speaking French.
Where's Hebner?
Which one?
Earl
Jr. Here's the deal.
Frank, put his foot down of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Frank. How do you rule?
How do I rule? It's not exactly my ruling.
We got Rusty over there in the corner. Doug Llewellyn's waiting in the hall.
I've got the Doug Llewellyn here.
You're dating yourself right now.
Do you know Doug Llewellyn was a great heel?
He was.
All he did was, man, they come out of that.
How do you really feel?
Do you realize how many people listening have no idea who Doug Llewellyn is?
If you know who Doug Llewellyn is, let us know on Twitter. Our Twitter user is @PWR Show.
Well, people are Googling
Just the same number of people who didn't know who Chili Willie was. Until we
Chili
lose
Willy
a
was
big
the
win.
ECW guy.
People that know they're going.
Oh my gosh, you do it too?
See? You're the only one who doesn't know who Chili Willy was.
Sorry.
It was a great cartoon.
I'm sure
you
it
had
was.
no childhood. Frank, your ruling.
My ruling. Okay. After speaking with legal, the situation is this. You have a wrestler that's out 6 to 8 weeks. You have the opportunity to put him on injured reserve.
Oh, the IR.
What a bunch of crap.
Yes.
Now, there is a catch to this.
Woo!
Don't woo yet.
Oh.
If you so choose, you automatically lose 5 points.
5, that's nothing. It should be like at least 20 points.
Oh,
5
only
points.
because, you probably want me to lose 65 points in order to do this because, that's
Frank,
how much
that's
I'm whipping
nothing.
your
5
tail back.
points.
It could be the difference at the end.
No, it's not going to be the
You're
difference.
being insubordinate right now. Frank's in charge. Let him finish.
Okay, go ahead, Frank.
Sitting over there whining about every little thing. What are you, Al Gore?
Well, I'm in Montreal. I can feel it.
You have 24 hours to make this decision.
Well, it's a no-brainer.
I can put Morrison on the IR. 5 points. What does 5 points get me if I give it 5 points? I
You
get to
lose
pick a
5
replacement.
Pick a replacement.
Done. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute. Really, Frank? This is what legal decided?
Well, as this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome to the Nelson family on a temporary basis.
Stop. Even though we originally said there were no trades, there were no
This isn't a trade.
pickups and drops.
This
there
is
was
no pickup. This
and
is no
only
drop.
points on pay-per-view.
This is a temporary
You have
replacement.
manipulated this draft since day one. You know that? There was no points for the draft special, Raw and SmackDown.
You're sitting over there a proud Republican, and all you guys do is find loopholes.
That's what we do. That's why we're paid so well. We find loopholes. This sucks. I'm not pleased. I'm really. You know what? I'm going to call my own legal. I know Clarence Mason. I'll find him somewhere. Bunch of crap.
People have just Googled Doug Llewellyn like 400 times, but they can't figure out how to spell it.
You're probably right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome to the Nelson family, replacing an injured John Morrison, who will hop back onto the roster after his first match, I believe. He's back on the Nelson family. The moment he wrestles again on Raw or anywhere else, R-Truth.
Oh, ain't that some That's ridiculous. Really?
R-Truth. Why wouldn't I? Hey, it's perfect. He's only going to be pushed for the next 8 weeks, so that's all I need him for.
The moment that Morrison is back on a match, then it's
fine. Great.
back
Morrison's
on your
back
roster.
on the team.
So if R-Truth, let's say in 2 months at whatever pay-per-view, and Morrison just happens to be on there, you don't get the R-Truth points. You get the Morrison points.
Wow.
Okay.
Frank,
Okay.
you've changed.
Let's go to the
You
phone.
knew what the rules were when this whole thing started. Collusion.
Let's go to the phones. And
I feel like Bret Hart.
Let's go to Adam in Columbus on line 2. Adam, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Tremendous.
I'm not pleased right now.
David, I feel your pain.
See, I'm getting screwed. See, at least you know what's going on.
But hey, I just want to make a few comments tonight. One about your conversation about the next star being pushed. One who looks like he's currently getting a major rub is Mason Ryan, which I have loved the way they're pushing him. Instead of him coming in and squashing all the little guys, he's taking on two of the most dominant superstars in the history of the company, and it took two of them to put him down this past week on Raw. So I've really liked how they've gone about this. The beginning of his push, it looks like he's going to get. And
maybe Batista.
And another thing is, I saw online that plan of the WWE, whether this is true or not, then you guys are the best at verifying wrestling news, so maybe you could look into it. But from what I've read, that the company was originally going to put the belt at Extreme Rules on Alberto Del Rio and then have him lose it to Orton like they did Christian on SmackDown, but they changed to Christian after all the sentiment with Edge. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this idea of maybe actually making Alberto Del Rio, who's a huge star, a transitional champion, to lose the belt on to Orton on SmackDown. That seems really dumb. Obviously, it didn't happen, but...
Well, Adam, thank you very much for that call, that question. I think that WWE clearly played an audible with Edge's injury for the whole company, pretty much.
And it worked out tremendously.
Absolutely. They couldn't have had it any better, to be honest.
No, because look at all the attention SmackDown got last week.
Yep.
It was an obnoxious.
We talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they take the belt off Christian 2 days later. Everyone complained. And then when you watched how the match ended, it was a great finish.
Absolutely.
And they set it up where Christian's going to come back and, get some a nice little run with Randy Orton. I like what they did. If Del Rio wins and drops it to Orton, it's meaningless.
Right.
No one cares. No one talks about it. Ha ha, funny. Del Rio, he's on Raw. That's why he lost. But they got the emotional investment of the fans with Edge and Christian, and then with Randy Orton. I thought it was the best thing they've done.
I thought it was a great match and a good finish.
Thank you very much for that call, Adam in Columbus. Bryan Danielson, I believe, also brought up in that conversation, and we're going to talk about him as one of those stars that had gotten a bit of opportunity and then maybe had it pulled back from him in WWE. We're also going to be taking more of your phone calls. The number 414-276-ESPN or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. Linda, we're also on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
And twitter.com/EWR Show.
And Linda, you've got a pretty major announcement here, too, tonight.
Something for next week.
It's a big deal. Next week.
She's downplaying it. This is humongous.
Linda Kay, the lovely Linda Kay, will be on the National Coyote Ugly calendar.
That's freaking tremendous.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Representing the MKE.
Yeah, we're doing a shoot in Pensacola, Florida.
So any fans in Pensacola, head on down to the beach.
Road Dogg's in Pensacola. How about that? We may have to send him over there to be your bodyguard.
You may need it. Congratulations, Linda.
That's hot news. That is hot news.
Coyote Ugly National Calendar. Coyote Ugly recently opening here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as well. Nice place, fun place. Frank, you're there just about every night, right?
Every other night, yeah.
Funny watching Frank dance on the tables.
You haven't gotten kicked out yet?
No, I know somebody there.
Yeah, he knows the calendar girl. I mean, come on, who else do you need to know?
I know Miss June.
What month will you be, Linda?
No idea.
Can the fans pick?
I have no idea.
Does it make a difference what month?
Well, that was
It could be a holiday. It could be like, dressed up on December.
I don't know.
Okay, so
we're going to
Linda,
be at the beach, so that's all I know.
Linda, so it's got to be a summer month. Linda Kay is a calendar girl. David Hero, you were a whole chapter in Mick Foley's book.
Absolutely.
I'm the host of the year. Kaz.
Just me.
No. Kaz is the collusionist. That's who he is. A bunch of crap.
The collusionist. I like that.
Yeah.
But we're all on a wall somewhere in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wall of Fame.
Wall of Fame. What was her name again?
Gladys Knight, Chicken and Waffles.
I thought it was Aretha Franklin's Chicken and Waffles.
They don't look alike either.
You don't get any respect, do you?
Wow. Ridiculous.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Perhaps one of the greatest wrestling theme songs in the history of the business. Axe and Smash, Demolition, members of the PWR Hall of Fame, receiving last year's PWR Lifetime Achievement Award.
And the GLCW Tag Team Champions.
I got to hold the belt at Blizzard Brawl, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Guard the belt, I should say. The belt.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, James Partridge, for choosing Demolition.
Good choice. Very good choice. And the fans on Facebook pick the theme songs each and every week, aside from the superhero pick of the week. Can you give us a hint, David Hero? What might it be this week?
No.
Wow.
No. Because you and Frank collude.
I don't understand how you don't view that as fair.
What do you mean?
You get the same opportunity.
No, believe me. If one of my guys was hurt, there would have been no pickup for me whatsoever.
Right, hypothetically speaking.
Mm-hmm. I know how this operates around here.
Let's continue on the phone lines here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Let's go to line 3. James in Houston, you're live.
Hey, guys. How's the night treating you guys up there in Milwaukee?
Fantastic.
Tremendous.
Yeah, it's great for Damien. He gets our truth.
Well, I just have 2 questions. You guys talked about Tom earlier. One of the things that I've been noticing about Raw is that do you think that they would be better off to just give more time for promos and more time for actual wrestling with the stars that people don't know about in order to help them get over? Because back in the day, in the Attitude Era, you would see like the Steve Blackmans and the Val Venuses and stuff like that when they were brand new, have like a 10, 12-minute match and also have promos and stuff. So do you guys think that would be beneficial for them nowadays on the brand?
Thank you very much, James, for that call. Of course, yes. Yes, but and it's interesting. This past Monday night on Raw, I think we had, 3 matches or so in the first hour, whereas last week we didn't have a single wrestling match in the first hour. So SmackDown, again, still a great show, and the show for wrestling from WWE Superstars, I guess, as well, if you're going to actually view that online, which I certainly don't have the patience or time to do. There's so much that they could be doing, that they should be doing, that they might want to be doing, but that they may not be considering doing. It's really frustrating because during the Attitude Era, David, we've talked about it so many times, there were stars within stars within stars, among stars, among stars, among stars, and you cared so much about so many people that were around, with the company still being focused on 2 or 3 big names, but you still had all these other great talents that got the rub from those big names as well.
Right now, the only big name on Raw is John Cena.
And The Miz.
Del Rio is second. Miz is he's a regular guy without a prop in his hand. No briefcase, no title belt, then he comes out with this silly new T-shirt.
What's silly about it? That's a great shirt.
No,
I just ordered 20 of them.
40? What does that mean?
I think he's the 40th WWE champion.
Oh, that could be. Just dumb.
You just didn't get it.
No, fine, I didn't get it, but if you look at him walk to the ring, all the good aura about him is gone. There's nothing special about The Miz anymore. He's a regular guy. I'm sorry, Damian Nelson, and that's why he's available for trade. Of course, that won't happen now because he doesn't have the belt. I'm sure you and Frank figured that thing out too.
Let's go to Matt calling from the north side of Milwaukee. You're live on line 1.
Matt?
Hey, to date myself, Doug Llewellyn is Judge Wapner's reporter from the People's Court.
Absolutely.
And I'm a second-generation wrestling star that grew up in the 80s, and I'm raising third-generation wrestling stars, or viewers, in my kids. And as far as the new stars coming up, I think WWE has shot themselves in the foot by first diminishing the value of the belts, the Intercontinental and the tag teams, and the Nexus, and clumping everyone together as regular guys. It's killed stars like Mason Ryan and
other names you can't remember because they don't leave an impression anymore.
And Michael McGillicuddy, I think Husky Harris is a great.
Yeah.
He takes the fall like Greg the Hammer Valentine. I haven't seen it since then. And Brodus Clay. I mean, if they pushed him and without showing him at first and then pushing him against a face, he'd be a huge star, I think. I just think that they're trying to give too much at a time and not giving any suspense, and all the characters seem the same. They're all clumped together in Nexus or the Core or whatever. It's just boring TV. And last week's SmackDown got the lowest ratings in a while. I thought that was a great wrestling show.
Yeah,
there was
absolutely
actually good wrestling matches on that show.
Yep.
And I think what they're missing out on is they're not building up storylines, and they're not building characters that are, especially if they're going to the PG rating, that are geared toward like what my kids watch. They need, like Andre the Giants, King Kong Bundys, Big John Studs, guys that they build up and then they lose ultimately to the face if that's what they're going for.
Yeah. Well, and thank you very much for that call, Matt. One thing I think that's an important point with these new stars is the fans have a bit of responsibility too, and meaning it takes time for you to actually invest in a character. Aside from Brock Lesnar, I can't think, David, of a character who was introduced and was immediately had that investment from the fans.
Oh, Brock Lesnar was just a different kind of beast.
And what did he have with him? Paul Heyman.
A great mouthpiece.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that is another thing that is missing right now. As great as they've done with Michael Cole and the reaction that people are giving Michael Cole, shouldn't Michael Cole perhaps have a stable of wrestlers? Maybe he rounds up a bunch of these guys and becomes a manager.
It'll never work.
Why not?
Because Michael Cole has to be the biggest star in that faction. He can't step back and let the talent be the biggest star.
Yeah. But wrestling managers way gone by the wayside, if you will, and they're missing. And now we'll see on SmackDown this Friday. This is somewhat of a spoiler, but not a spoiler.
Don't say it.
A manager introduced into a superstar's persona.
Yes.
This Friday on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of a unique choice there, but without Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar would not have taken as well as he did at first. Without Bobby Heenan, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard would not have been as good as they were as the Brainbusters in WWE. You need a manager, and it's a simple fix. Now, David Hero, you've made the point for a long time that managers don't draw money, but in this case, don't they? Couldn't they? If they're creating and building stars who will draw money.
Well, the managers that draw money are no longer, available. Bobby Heenan, Lou Albano, Jimmy Hart, even Slick. Because, people were invested in them because they're so good, as far as talkers.
Yes, and that's a good point. We've been talking about, the young superstars needing their pushes tonight, and we have a comment here on Facebook from Sam Betcher saying they need to get some charismatic managers to help push these physically gifted but no mic skills to speak of young guys. There are no real manager characters anymore. This just shows how valuable they are or can be.
I mean, think about it. When Eminem first came out,
Melina,
Nitro and Mercury weren't great talkers, but they didn't have to be when you had the world's greatest entrance.
Right.
That took all the heat.
Yep.
It's been a long time since there's... You know what? The last good manager on TV is the current GLCW champion, Armando Alejandro Estrada. He got Umaga over, right? Got in the ring with Ric Flair, had a little verbal sparring, got the universe into Umaga, then Umaga took over from there.
Right.
But since then, there's been no managers.
No.
Anyone in TNA?
No.
No. And if there was, we can't even think of them. I mean, you can call Ric Flair a manager, I guess, of fortune, but he's more like a player coach. Well, he does. He gets in the ring. He does his deal.
Yeah.
Linda, you need to become a manager.
Ooh. A valet?
No, a manager. I can see her be a manager.
Will you take a bump, Linda?
Absolutely. I'll be in the ring. Give me the mic. I'll do my thing.
The mic check?
1, 2, 1, 2.
TNA Sacrifice is this Sunday on pay-per-view, David, and this Friday at PWRshow.com and on TV here in southeastern Wisconsin. You can check out Be the Booker for TNA Sacrifice and see what we're thinking about that pay-per-view going into it. And I guess the question that will be answered is, will the pay-per-view be worth the price of admission?
Oh, if they book it the way I want it to be booked, absolutely. It'll be well worth the $40. But you'll have to wait to find out, I guess.
Be the Booker Friday at PWRshow.com. We're going to take another time out. When we come back, we're going to talk to David out in Washington, and we're going to give you the rest of those names of people who maybe need to be or who were being built by WWE and then took a step backwards. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. I was the master of ceremonies for my middle school graduation from Parkman Middle School here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That was, 6 weeks ago?
And this music played, this the whole graduation thing. And I didn't know the connection. I had always thought up until that moment that this was just the Macho Man's music.
Pomp and circumstance? Very
Yeah,
okay.
I really did. I didn't know. I thought this was just the Macho Man's music.
All right, thank you, Jeremy Thibodeau.
See, my Host of the Year training started early on in my life as I was the Master of Ceremonies, as I said, as I graduated the 8th grade.
Thank you, Jeremy Thibodeau, for choosing Macho Man's theme song.
Damian Nelson here along with Linda Kay and David Octavius, the Tiberius hero. David, you pissed Frank off, and he stormed out of here.
Well, the collusionist.
You're calling him names.
He's a collusionist.
With as much in this world that goes your way, how dare you not
what do you
let
mean
the
goes
man,
my way?
How dare you not let somebody else every now and again get a little something good?
Why?
Why would you want... fair is fair. Frank was fair to the Nelson family.
Second place is the first loser.
Yeah, that's what you are right now with your 300 points to my 360.
I know, but it's not over
yet.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. The fat lady is not even queued up. But when she does sing, come next year at WrestleMania, she's going to be singing the blues for you, bro.
Okay. As long as it's for me, that's fine.
All right, we got some tweets here. We just, before the break, we started talking about the absence of managers and what they can do to help push superstars.
I've got the answer, though, Linda.
Oh, my
God.
Wouldn't I make a tremendous wrestling manager?
No.
I think you would.
Why not? I'll take a bump. I can incite people. I can energize a
You
base.
can incite people. There's no question about that.
See, the next big superstar needs Damian as a manager and Linda Kay as the valet.
So Damian's going to manage Cody.
Fine.
And you're going to valet Zack Ryder.
No.
No?
No, we'll take all right. No, well, the Nelson family is obviously who I'd manage right now.
That's Cody Rhodes.
But Linda would be my valet with the Nelson family.
Oh, I don't think...
Okay, you think we should go for a tryout?
Yeah, I say let's do this.
Tough enough. They'll be casting for the next season pretty soon.
I'm not taking those kinds of bumps.
Linda, you should go for Tough Enough.
I would like to. I should. Keep me abreast about that. All right, now let's get to these tweets here.
Absolutely.
When's the calendar out?
All right. We got a tweet here from Jay Otham saying that Michael Cole has kind of been an announcer/manager for Miz and Ziggler last year. And Saul Perez Jr. says, what about Father James Mitchell in TNA when he was Abyss's manager? And
that was forever ago.
That was memorable, he says, at least to me. So, thank you very much for your tweet.
We're taking your calls. The number is 414-276-ESPN. We're all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. Give us a call and be on the show. But, David Hero, a couple of names to round out that list. Obviously, you've got Alberto Del Rio and The Miz, and I would say they're still
the only star on that list.
The Miz? You're
Del
right.
Rio.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Sin Cara?
Speaking of Del Rio, how about Ricardo Rodriguez dropping the drop kick?
Oh, he is a wrestler.
That was awesome. That's job security right there, when you can defend your guy like that.
Bryan Danielson is a person who's been sort of pulled back from the push that he got as part of the headlining main event at SummerSlam.
He lost his push, lost Gail Kim, lost his title, and now he's on SmackDown.
What about his dog?
What?
His dog.
He has a dog?
Well, from the way you were saying, it sounded like his dog left him, too.
I'm not...
Don't you listen to Garth Brooks?
You do, Friends in Low Places.
No, the lightning strikes and the thunder rolls.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you're surprised that I listen to country music?
No, I just...
Why wouldn't I listen to country music?
I never said that. Wow. You're a little fired up tonight, aren't you?
I'm a lot fired up tonight.
You should be happy. You got your way. You and the collusionist, Frank Cosentino.
Why are you dwelling?
Frank Collusion.
Let it go.
Frank Collusiontino. Sad dude.
Dolph Ziggler, player one.
Dolphy Z.
Earlier this year, headlining pay-per-views such as the Royal Rumble.
It's not going to happen again.
Really?
I think he's...
What's Ziggler's problem?
He is going to be stuck in mid-cardom.
Why?
I just... They had the opportunity and they didn't do it.
Right.
And now he's on Raw. So he's behind like 5 or 6 guys on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be an IC champ or a U.S. champ, but I don't think they'll put the world belt around his waist anytime soon.
Drew McIntyre.
You know...
He was the chosen one.
I don't get it, though. You know, he's a talented guy, and he can talk, but I just can't see the fans booing him or cheering him.
Really?
Yeah. What has he done that would make the people want to boo him? Nothing. He's never been the villain.
Kelly?
He's never been the villain. You know what I mean? Why hate the guy? What has he done?
I don't hate. I appreciate him.
Okay, why appreciate him? What has he done?
What has he...
He's done nothing.
But he hasn't been put in
He's been irrelevant. No, you create those moments. You create something. You know, how many guys have had bad gimmicks and they've actually made them work? They put Dusty Rhodes in polka dots and he still got over. Okay? If you're talented, you'll find a way to make it work.
They put Cody Rhodes in a mask and he still got over.
Oh, come on.
Well, Linda, our Facebook poll.
Oh, yeah.
Who should it be? Who is that next guy in the fans' minds that WWE should push to top star level?
Oh,
who were the
dominated this poll?
Who were the selections?
All of them, or just the top?
No, let's go through the list.
Okay, we've got Zack Ryder, Cody Rhodes, R-Truth, Christian, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, Wade Barrett, and Joe Mo.
And, you know, I always knew that our listeners were very smart and borderline brilliant because even in this poll, they picked the right guy, the guy who I would have picked as well. I'm just very, very happy that you all went with Cody Rhodes. Clearly, Cody Rhodes could be a WWE champion. Clearly, Cody Rhodes could be a world heavyweight champion. Clearly, he is a man who should be defined as the new face of WWE. I'm very happy he was picked.
Damien?
Oh, God, I want to punch you in the mouth. Really?
What?
That's a lot of spinning right there.
What are you talking about?
Cody Rhodes as the face of the WWE.
Look, that's what the people picked, right, Linda?
You got a few votes, but there's
three.
That had
3 votes does not count.
No, 7.
7.
Yep.
Come on, Linda. Why do you do that?
You
know what, Frank? Now you sit in Frank's chair. Now you're starting to be a little bit like him and Damien. This is. I feel now I'm being ganged up by everybody.
All right. When we
Wade Barrett was number 1. He had 14 votes. Double Cody Rhodes. Twice the man.
Can I get to the man that has
David Harrell never shuts up. He likes the sound of his own voice.
Have you met my son? He doesn't shut up either.
All right.
Hey, Kez.
Okay. There's one superstar, one by a landslide, just completely dominated this poll, and that is Zack Ryder.
Woo, woo, woo.
Where's the applause?
His minions.
He's an internet sensation.
Yeah, that's all that. He's like the William Hung of wrestling. You know
who?
William Hung. You know, American Idol. That one kid who.
She bangs.
Yeah, she bangs. That one. That's who he reminds me of.
What?
Yeah. Everyone thinks he's funny, so that's why they like him. Not really
funny.
Yeah, but
you could do your own show on YouTube and get that many.
We do that.
Well. I'm talking about a young superstar, you know, on the ride.
Because I'm old,
no.
I wouldn't qualify?
I talked about you are old.
Like it's all the same. You let it good and I'm taking away like a bomb.
Yeah, baby.
Talk to me. Tell me your sign. You're switching
this guy made a lot of money.
You're playing games and
I am shocked that this is the superhero pick of the week.
This is not No.
Really? You picked William Hung as the superhero theme song pick of the week?
Hey,
you
know
pick
what?
on the fans out there for picking the theme songs they pick every week, and you go with William Hung from American Idol as your theme song pick of the week. Really?
Really. I'll punch you in the mouth. That's my next hashtag when I talk about you.
I spoke about this on the post show this past Monday night. A reminder, we're going to be back here on 540 ESPN this upcoming Monday night. Post show returns Sunday after TNA Sacrifice. But after the post show, or on the post show this past week, I talked about Zack Ryder and talked about creating his own brand. And David Hero, while you're saying that it's his sheep, it's his minions online that voted for him in this poll, saying he's the next person WWE should push as one of their top talents, hasn't he done his part? And highlighted his
absolutely
talent and put himself out there?
He's done a great job on his own end.
But shouldn't he? If they're not
going to push him, yeah.
Doesn't it make him more valuable?
You hear the pop that remember at WrestleMania when they had Snoop Dogg and the tryouts. I mean, when they showed him.
Hey, I will say
And-
this: Zack Ryder was very helpful at WrestleMania. He truly was, and I appreciate everything he did for us when he was down there.
He knows his way around.
Yes, he does. But I mean, listen, Vince is the guy that calls the shots, and Vince hasn't done anything with him yet.
I hope he does.
But the point, I think, as it pertains to Zack Ryder, is he's not sitting back waiting. He's out front of it. He's doing something. He's getting himself noticed. And quite frankly, would we be talking about a Zack Ryder if he hadn't done his True Long Island stories or whatever they are?
Long Island Ice Feud. You know what I appreciate about each of those webisodes as well? The way he promotes himself. He always plugs his shirt at the end. He plugs his Twitter. Plugs Facebook. I mean, what, you know, he's doing the right thing.
He's plugging. Listen, I am not saying that Zack Ryder is wrestling's William Hung. I'm saying they're both internet sensations.
No, the quote coming out of this episode is going to be, David Hero calls Zack Ryder William Hung.
Of course it will be, yes. Because that's how
the sheets are going to report
That's how
it.
it's going to sound, right. But you know what, though? He should be happy if that's the case, because, you know what? William Hung made a lot of money in a short amount of time.
He didn't hang on to it, though.
Listen, hey, what internet show that has been the dirt sheet, whatever they've done in the past, has ever translated to them, those guys getting a push and making money? They've never used them to their, you know,
Miz and
to
more
their advantage.
No,
they've never used them to their advantage. Any of those internet shows. Ken Kennedy had one. Miz and Morrison had one that they used once in a while. The stuff was viral, but it was never really acknowledged on TV. Yes, Dave, I see the smirk in your eye.
I don't have the smirk in my eye.
There's a smirk in your eye.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
American dream. He's just a common man, working hard with his hands. He's just a common man, working hard for the man.
Without Sapphire, had Dusty had gotten as much over as he was as the polka dot in WWE?
I enjoyed watching them dancing together.
Sweet Sapphire.
She was sweet, wasn't she?
And when she got her Cadillac and her leather coat, her faux coat from Ted DiBiase, remember?
Yeah.
When she pulled up.
Yeah.
Nice job on that one.
Nice job, Medea.
Thank you.
You
That
almost
was
saw
big.
Perk.
No.
They did a whole play on the capture of Osama bin Laden. It said that they were pleased to announce they've caught the most dangerous man to the planet, and it was Tyler Perry.
I can see
Welcome
that.
back to the Pro Wrestling Report. Who didn't pick that?
Travis Griggs.
I'm picking the next song.
You are, huh?
I have to. I got to change things up.
Let's go to David in Washington, waiting on line 2.
Woo,
You're
woo, woo.
live.
So, hello.
Hello, David.
I want to know why TNA is rebranding and how is it supposed to help them?
Thank you, David, for that call. It looks as if TNA is actually only going to be changing the name of Impact to
Thank
Impact
God.
Wrestling.
It makes sense.
It makes sense for them to change the name of the company to Impact Wrestling or something else because, David, Hulk Hogan made the same point this past Monday, I think it was, on Right After Wrestling on the Score with Ardo Cal and Jimmy Corderas, made that point that you made last week about TNA and the name. You walk into a meeting and you say, I'm with TNA Wrestling, people think it's
Strippers.
Linda's calendar.
Wow. Linda is a classy calendar.
No, it is classy, but, I mean, it's a different thing.
Different thing. It's bikinis. How different is that? In case you missed it, Linda Kay is in the international Coyote Ugly calendar coming out next year. Or end of this year.
Correct.
That's tremendous. She's going to forget about us.
Oh, whatever.
Big
Mike
time.
in Moreno Valley, you're live on line 1.
How is gentlemen doing this evening?
Fantastic.
Mike, welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Hero. Did you get the Facebook message of your induction?
Yes, thank you very much.
There is someone out there that respects you.
And thank God it's you.
Yes. And Linda, how are you doing this evening?
Tremendous. How about you?
Good. You're the brightest light in the room right now.
You're so kind.
Thank you. I kind of want to touch back on something you guys are saying about the need for managers. A lot of big acts that got over had a great mouthpiece for them when they were starting out. Bobby Heenan, one of the best talkers in the business, but with the manager was able to get Andre the Giant over.
Whoa, Mike. Andre was over before Bobby Heenan.
Yeah,
Andre, Heenan helped guys like Haku, like Hercules,
Red
Rooster, Brooklyn Brawler.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I stand corrected. And you don't have that anymore. You don't have that person that can do the talking while the wrestler does the in-ring work.
Right.
And I think that's something WWE needs to focus on. Armando Estrada was great. He was, for not seeing a manager like that in a while, he was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not only could he talk, could he irritate you to no end and get over as a heel, but if you really need him to, he could do in-ring work too.
I will say this about Armando Estrada, and I consider him a very good, close personal friend of just mine and the show as well. He is a smart wrestling mind. He knows how to get from A to B to C, but doing it in a way that will entertain you and teach you as well.
Yeah.
And he had the best garlic French fries in the world, too.
I, of course, prefer the hot sauce fries.
Of course.
Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was the new face of the WWE.
Cody Rhodes?
No, far from it. You're on the wrong road. I think somebody like a Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, it's a stretch, but given the proper push from himself and the grooming, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, well, I mean, all those people have had that chance, though.
Drew McIntyre needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. But
you know who else? You know what? Give one to Harry Smith also.
Mm-hmm.
You know, put a stable of young guys together like the old Heenan family. Pick a manager that can do all the talking for them.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least try it, for God's sake. Mike, thank you very much for that call out in the Moreno Valley. Let's go to our final caller of the evening, Eddie from Kansas on line 3. You're live.
Hey there, guys. Hope you're having a tremendous evening there up there in Milwaukee.
Always.
What's up, Eddie?
Not much. I would actually like to talk about who should be the face of the WWE right now.
Cody Rhodes?
I actually agree. I think it should be Cody Rhodes. I think
Oh, my God.
Very nice.
I think he's the most talented wrestler out of all these guys right now.
What? Talented? Over Wade Barrett?
Talented.
Over Sheamus?
I feel like Wade Barrett and Sheamus are a little bit green still and could use a little bit of developmental. Not like SCW, but I feel like they're not quite on the level of Cody Rhodes wrestling-wise.
You know what? Let's see how Cody does when he gets in the ring with a guy that's taller than him.
Why is everything got to be about height with you?
Because it is.
Well, Rey Mysterio's done a great job in his career, and he's not very tall.
Yeah, but he does flips. He wears a mask. Kids love him. He's a superhero.
Cody wears a mask. He does flips.
Oh, man, you guys are too much. You know what? I have a funny hunch that this whole show has been set up tonight from the beginning. Is it April 1st? That's what it feels like right now. Cody Rhodes is the face of the WWE. He's even the face of SmackDown right now. We'll see how Cody does if he ever gets his run with the world champion, Randy Orton. That's going to be an abomination.
I'd like to see it.
See, no one has anything to say because you know I'm right.
Eddie, I appreciate your opinion. Thank you so much for calling in.
Eddie's banned. He can't call back anymore.
And call us each and every week to talk about Cody Rhodes if you so choose to do so. Linda, Cody's your next big thing for 2011. Yeah. You going to let David Hero sit across the table from you here and talk like this?
You know what? We'll see what happens. But you know, if he does get
hate. Why does he hate?
When
so
have
much?
I been wrong?
Keep drinking that Haterade.
About an hour ago.
When have I? Listen, Cody Rhodes is not going to be a bigger star than Randy Orton. Not going to happen.
Sat there probably a year ago and said the same thing about Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase about Cody Rhodes going into obscurity.
Yeah.
You said the words right there in that chair on this show.
I said Cody Rhodes sucks.
You said that.
Yes, I did. And what's changed? Nothing. Nothing's changed.
You won't give the. Why? What is your hatred for Cody Rhodes?
I don't hate him. It's
Clearly
just not
you do.
believable. No, that's not it at all. You twist everything around.
I'm asking questions.
Cody
My
Rhodes
job.
is not the guy that you put the company on his back and say, okay, take us to the promised land. He's not that guy.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report.
If he was that good, he'd be on Raw right now, and he's not. They would have brought him over in the draft.
I hear we have.
You're the son of the son of the block. Dusty Rhodes, the common man.
Yeah.
You know,
the American dream.
Yeah. He's just a common.
You remember that?
No.
When Cody and Dusty and Dustin
That's
were
how
all in
uneventful he is.
This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report with the hater, David Hero, on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN Text Club members get the breaking news on the Packers, Brewers, Badgers, and Bucks. Sign up today at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Na na na, come on. Na na na, come on. Na 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 na, come on.
Now, when you pick a song of the week, shouldn't it be a different song each week? Where's your originality? Where's your creativity?
You know, like how Superman gets his power from Earth's sun. Rihanna is my Earth sun. I get my power from her. I'm now getting fully recharged, and I can battle all you evil Cody lovers.
You're into S&M?
I love Rihanna. Don't be putting words in my mouth, amigo. Have you seen this video?
Yeah.
Good God.
You know,
Hey, that's a self-high five right there.
I will forever love this song. It was this song and Written in the Stars. I like the song.
The song is called S&M.
Yeah.
No, but it's great. Remember in Atlanta, during WrestleMania? Those are the two songs.
During what?
There you go.
WrestleMania.
Exactly. Very good.
Why'd you end the song? You could have kept it going. Jeez. See, whenever I'm having fun, you guys got to ruin it. I'm going to pull up the video on YouTube. That'll be fine.
Due to your, picking on callers and...
Wait. I don't pick on anybody. I just give my opinion. That's what you pay me to do. Give my opinion on what goes on around here.
We never got the stories that went too far, including a story of your
One
hatred.
did tonight. That was a damn picking up an injured player, Ron Killings. That went way too far, Frank. Collusionist. Collusion-tino.
I still don't know what your problem is. Well, amongst many others, I don't know what your most recent problem is. Fair is fair. You got to be fair to the family.
I'm all about
Frank
fair.
was fair to the family.
I'm all about being fair and balanced. I get that. That's fine. Frank is obviously going to take.
Linda, do you think Frank's decision was an equitable decision? Was one that makes sense? One that had to be addressed, and one that again did not necessarily help. I had to give up points to potentially get no points. So I don't understand what's not fair about it.
But if you were put in that situation, what if one of your stars were injured?
I wouldn't be fighting it because I see it from both ways.
Full of crap, Damian Nelson. And listen, Frank should know better. He hosts Fantasy Sports Weekly on this radio station. Which
is why he's the moderator.
He should understand how fantasy sports pickups and drops goes.
But this is wrestling.
Oh, because it's fake, so then it has to be fake that way too?
Wrestling's not fake. It's a controlled situation. Premeditated outcome.
Mm-hmm. Can't fake gravity. Next. You got me sidetracked. See? You tried to derail me. That's the problem around here.
Next week, we're going to go over those stories in wrestling that went too far, and a couple of hints of some of the ones we have slated to talk about. Obviously, the current situation between Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle. Obviously, Jerry Lawler's mother being brought into this story, which you'll see more of coming up on upcoming WWE programming.
That was dumb.
And since it happened this past Monday night, it was uncomfortable at first when Michael Cole referenced Jerry Lawler's mother dying, a week later. But I think it struck more of a chord doing it the day after Mother's Day. And you think about all the people in the world out there who may be celebrating Mother's Day without their mother still here with us. I think that was in some of the worst taste that WWE has exhibited in the last several years.
Yeah, since Katie Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I was a little disappointed with that whole.
I haven't heard from anybody who wasn't disappointed or upset by it.
I mean, you knew where it was going when he was talking about Mother's Day. I'm like,
but you still cringed all the way there.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much. It's too far.
Many people have said we watch wrestling to escape reality. We don't want to be reminded about what our problems, our issues are. That's why the whole, Jerry Lawler Mother's Day thing is just bad TV. That's why the whole Jeff, Karen, and Kurt Jarrett angle is just bad TV, because people don't want to be reminded of real life when they're trying to escape.
Yep. That's why Springer was such a great show.
Oh yeah, I mean anyone that could relate to that should be locked up. Weren't you on Springer once? I was talking to Linda.
No, I did get a. Never mind.
I'm thinking of going to Oprah's last show. I'm not afraid to admit that I have become addicted to this season 25 Oprah behind the scenes show. It's fascinating to me, especially when you look at her staff, because they fall into two categories.
And what two categories is that?
I'm not going to say it on air, but they're all very similar. But a fascinating show, and she's doing it at the United Center. A couple of tapings at the UC.
Oh yeah, I mean why not? She can fill out that place.
Tickets are free.
Really?
Yep.
Foolish.
How long is that line going to be?
Right. Anyways, wrestling. We're going to talk about that next week on 540 ESPN when we come back on Monday. The stories in wrestling that went too far. And we went over the draft update points now, David Hero, just because now the gap is closing.
Oh, let's just rub it in some more, Cheater McCheaty Pants.
360 points reside with the Nelson family.
And 423 for me.
300 points, some 60 less than me. Over on the what do you call your family again? Oh,
Super
losing.
Friends.
Oh, Super Friends. So you got a chance, though, with TNA Sacrifices Sunday on pay-per-view. Going in, you've got 45 points, 50 points.
How about that?
I still think that's Sting on the poster. They just cleaned off one half of his
Rob
face.
Van Dam wearing face paint.
When has Rob Van Dam ever wore face paint? Why would he wear face paint?
He's in this poster.
There's no reason to wear face paint. Fine. We each get 5 points.
Whatever. That's fine.
You're a sore loser. That's what it is.
No.
You're a sore loser. If you were winning, and as sure as I'm sitting here right now, the world knows, if you were winning, you would be every week shoving
I'm
this
not braggadocious.
Down our
not at
throats.
all.
When you have a slight swing in the points, if that were to happen over the course of the next 10 months,
let me tell you
all
something.
we're going to hear about is how you're
I have
winning.
been in fantasy sports for 20 years.
I haven't even been born that long.
I learned that when you talk too much about how good your team is when your team falls apart. I will not brag about how amazing my team is.
Strategic.
Strategize? Is that what you call it?
Strategize.
Strategize?
It's strategic.
Strategery.
Mm-hmm.
Got a great team. Just like Owen Hart used to have a great cast.
Oh, Bob Orton had a great cast.
Owen Hart had a great cast, too.
Did he?
He did.
Huh.
Yes.
I don't remember.
What was the event where Bob Orton came back? It was on a SmackDown, wasn't it, when he was with his kid? I don't know why this just popped into my head. Remember he had the cast on?
Yeah.
And got involved in some matchups.
Undertaker?
Yes.
And he bled?
Yes.
And Taker got all hot about it because it didn't go the way it should have gone? Don't tell me what to do.
Look, dude, it's going to get to the point where Legal's going to be sitting in the studio here with us.
It's not my fault.
With a green light and a red light for you, for what you can't eat. You know how many times you've gotten us sued?
No.
Do you know how many times you've gotten me personally and physically attacked because of the words
your
you
own
use?
Fault. I mean, when you bury guys on the radio and then eventually you bump into them, they're going to be hot about it.
All I do is speak the truth. I'm an analyst.
At least the guy I pick on can just kick me in the ankles.
Yeah.
What? Oh, my gosh.
Nothing. I want to remind you, listening to us on Blog Talk Radio, be sure to follow the show. Never miss an episode of the Pro Wrestling Report. Again, the post show. What are we doing? 1, 2, 3 radio shows this week, David Hero. 2 post shows and this show, obviously, and then Be the Booker Friday. at pwrshow.com talking about TNA Sacrifice this Sunday on pay-per-view. Linda, anything good out there in the social media world? I think we had some comments on Cody Rhodes from that caller, Eddie, in Kansas.
Yeah, I see what Eddie's saying.
No, Eddie already said what he said, but I think we had some follow-up comments on Twitter about that. We have a lot of support for Cody Rhodes.
Oh, what?
There it is.
Barn Girl 80 says Cody sucks. That is
See?
all. Thanks.
See? Barn Girl knows what she's talking about.
It's one person's opinion.
Hey, just one voice. Singing in the darkness. That's all it takes is one voice.
I want to welcome you to join us next Monday night right here on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com for the Pro Wrestling Report. 10 o'clock Central Standard Time right after WWE Raw. We'll be talking about TNA Sacrifice and the upcoming WWE Over the Limit pay-per-view.
Who's on the poster of that one?
The Miz.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so awesome that you're willing to give them up.
Well, yeah, but I'll keep those points. I already got them.
Zack Ryder just sent out a tweet, David Hero.
Well, I can only imagine.
I now have over 100 followers. Bad for a broski who's hardly ever on Raw. Hash marks, Ryder Revolution, broski, WWJKI.
Huh.
There's also the Zack Pack.
That's great. How many followers does William Hung have? I bet you're close to 1 million.
Is he on Twitter?
Absolutely.
And are you following him?
No.
Why were you weren't why you were late getting here tonight? Talking on the phone with your friend Newt?
You know what? We're strategizing.
Are you going to be part of that campaign?
I'm a part of every campaign.
Because you're going to have to be excused from this show if that's the case.
Okay. Just relax, homie.
Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Monday night here on 540 ESPN. We'll see you Sunday right after the pay-per-view for the post-show on Blog Talk Radio for the Cod. For David Octavius, the Tiberius C, Cody Rhodes Hater, and Zack Ryder Hater, and Linda Kay, this is Damian Nelson saying thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.